Hey there! We're all familiar with Lego from our childhood, but even more precisely, we know that Lego is very expensive. For example, these are basic Lego bricks, a set of which costs around $20. For this money, we get about 300 pieces, with which we can build anything within the limits of our imagination, and the quantity of bricks, of course. We've built this small Lego house for a Lego man and did some calculations. It turns out that an average-sized Lego brick costs about 5 cents. The area of our house is 49 square centimeters, and we used around 150 pieces for it. So, a square meter of Lego housing would cost $1,700, and a real Lego house would come in at a staggering $200,000. But what are we really paying for? After all, we all understand that it's just plastic, and knockoffs have been around for a while now. For the same $20, we bought a whole huge box of bricks, though not Lego, but a copy. The bricks are packaged well and, at first glance, look exactly the same. Only if you look closely, you'll see that each original Lego piece has an inscription on the studs, while the copy has a smooth surface. But seriously, are we paying so much extra just for these inscriptions? You might assume that non-original Lego would be less durable, or that the bricks would somehow be of a lower quality. To put this to the test, we took a hammer and decided to strike a few blows to the original Lego. And then repeat the same procedure with the copy. Personally, I didn't see any difference in durability, so we took another brick and a sledgehammer. The original brick shattered into pieces, and surprisingly, the non-original one seemed to remain intact too. It's even more solid at first glance. So what's the deal? We decided to build two similar abstract figures, one with original Lego and the other with the copy, and drop them from a person's height. The original Lego figure shattered into pieces, with bits scattered several meters around, and to our surprise, the imitation barely broke apart. The main part remained mostly intact on the ground. We quickly headed home and started assembling some structure from the huge box of bricks. And while building the construction, we noticed a subtle difference. We built a large palace with a golf cart in the yard and a real jacuzzi. And in just half an hour of building, our fingers were genuinely tired. While it might not be very noticeable in the video, the original bricks connect smoothly and effortlessly detached from each other. However, the imitation requires significantly more effort to join and separate two bricks. When connecting two flat pieces, the original can be easily disconnected, but the copy is much more challenging to separate. This is a pain of my childhood. We took a closer look at the details and noticed some tiny stripes inside the original Lego bricks that were absent in the copy. Maybe that's the key difference. However, let's not forget that the price difference between the two sets is enormous, and we found only one drawback with the imitation. But we could wrap it up here if Lego were not something more than just brick construction kits. As a child, I was fascinated by the exciting Lego City commercials and had a strong desire to construct an entire city with buildings, vehicles and workers. In reality, Lego City is only slightly more intricate, as it consists not just of bricks, but also components for building various simple mechanisms.
Hey! Build a new 4x4 off-roader!
Such as a mini excavator or a fire truck. To compare, we chose a snowplow. Firstly, it moves on tracks, and secondly, it features a working cannon on top that shoots snowballs. We were very curious to see if the copy could replicate all of these features. The set is named Lego Cities, and it looks quite promising. The instructions are a bit simpler, but nothing crucial, and even the stickers are identical to the original. Similar to the previous Lego set, the Chinese version is a bit more challenging to assemble, not as comfortable for the fingers. However, in the end, we ended up with two absolutely identical models, with only one difference: the tracks on the Chinese version being slightly darker. All movable elements are working, the models move identically, and even the cannon on the copy operates well. The original Lego set costs approximately $25, while the copy is priced at just $5. But most of all, I love LEGO Technic. It's a LEGO series where there are almost no regular bricks and mostly functional elements are used. Various mechanisms, gears, knobs. These LEGO sets are usually the most interesting and the most challenging to assemble. I've assembled more than a dozen Technic models and decided that comparing them would be the most interesting. So we bought a huge set with 2500 pieces. The box is very large and slightly worn out, but that's thanks to the postal workers. The box with the copy looks good too, but the original one is about 4 times heavier. Odd, considering the models are supposedly the same scale. Here's how many pieces we'll have to assemble to get our huge defender. In the copy, the pieces look very similar, but there are exactly half as many, 1250 pieces. And if you compare the assembly instructions, the difference becomes immediately apparent. Well, it's time to start assembling. Right from the beginning, LEGO introduces us to a differential, and I would love to talk about all the mechanisms inside, but it's such a complicated and long story that I'm afraid most people would just turn off the video. On the first day, I only managed to assemble the gearbox, which LEGO claims as the most detailed one they've ever made. On the second day, I was able to assemble the engine, suspension and connect the front and rear parts of the body. On real car assembly lines, this moment is called the wedding. The entire second day, from morning till late evening, I was assembling the car step by step. It was simultaneously very interesting, but also very challenging. We assembled the copy together with the cameraman. Here there are less pieces and the assembly was much simpler, and seeing the size of the wheels, we immediately understood that something was off. Compare, for example, the wheels of the original and the copy. After yet another day, both assemblies were completed. Well, are you ready to see the result? Yes, it seems they tried to replicate everything precisely, but it turned out not very impressive. Even externally, the models cannot compete. Not to mention the functionality. In the original Defender, there's a working engine, gearbox, steering through a reducer, and much more. The steering wheel in the original turns like a real one, while in the copy, it acts like in any toy. But in my opinion, the coolest part is the suspension. The suspension in the original is made exactly like in real cars, multi-link with shock absorbers. As for the copy, it has something there, but what it can amortize is unclear. It doesn't work at all. Just look at how good the original Defender travels on a bad road, and how the suspension copes with even the tiniest bumps under its own weight. At the same time, it will be absolutely comfortable for any toys in the cabin. In the original gearbox, there's even a low gear that really allows the car to go off-road better. And climb up even on slippery muddy surfaces. Such a vehicle is not afraid to go down a slope or ford a stream. And the copy behaves just like a plastic toy car. What can I say if it doesn't even have a differential? So, whether to buy non-original LEGO or not, the choice is yours. But in technically complex models, I would definitely prefer the original ones, whereas in simpler models, you can think about it. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, and you can also watch a few more. They're on your screen. Bye!